Smoker's cough?
No. I'm still, my throat has never recovered from this morning.
Oh, from that powder.
From that powder.
Cocaine?
Okay. The other white powder, resveratrol.
other white powder?
Yeah, resveratrol.
Nobody,
the other white powder.
Nobody know about that.
Actually, it's a little grayish. It's not really white.
Is that a sugar replacement?
No, actually, it helps to increase the brown fat cells in our bodies. And resveratrol is also found in grapes and wine, and it's heart healthy.
We're gonna do a whole show on like health. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, and it's anti-aging, so it has wonderful, wonderful properties. But you can't drink a bottle of wine every night just to get the resveratrol. Right. So you can get it in pill form or powdered form.
Shifting gears a little bit. So today we wanted to talk about some like gender roles, right? Mm-hmm. Gender roles in a relationship, expectations, versus realities.
Yeah.
And where they meet. So
let's see. How do you begin? Like, we're married. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that by now. Mm-hmm. And I think getting into this relationship and this marriage with you, there are just some roles that I just felt like I should do. You know what I'm saying? For me...
So you came in thinking about roles that you should do?
Not necessarily thinking about it, but just kind of knowing what might be expected. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Me being the woman, the wife, so it wasn't like I went into this marriage like, okay, these are the roles that I must do. Right. I must do laundry. I must do housekeeping. I must do decorating.
Right.
No, I'm not thinking like that. It's just naturally, it's just what I sensed and what I felt I should be doing.
Yeah.
Cooking being one of them, laundry, at least me and the kids, and then I was like, well, do you want to do your own laundry or do you want me to include it, in all the laundry? I think that's how it was in the beginning, wasn't it?
No, I didn't give a damn. I don't give a damn about laundry, But
you know what? I try to do the laundry. I try to, providing meals. Yeah. I want the space to look nice. Like, I'm a Libra. I like to be surrounded by beauty. I like beautiful things. I don't like things that are broken and they're still existing.
I know. I'm laughing because
we're gonna. Yeah.
Look,
that might be another. Another episode. There's
always projects in the house. There's always things that break. I can deal with broken things a little bit longer than my wife can, but any man who does fix things around the house knows that there's always a list. There's always a list of stuff that needs to be fixed, and hopefully you get that list down to zero. But
if something on that list is not addressed soon enough, it will be going in the trash.
Right. There are
I'm not waiting
deadlines.
Around for it. I'm like, okay, now it's been here for about a week.
until bulk trash day.
Until bulk trash day, and then you're gonna see it out on the curb.
I'm always like, wait, I can fix it.
Or let me save this part. This is wood. Let me save this part.
Have you ever seen that show Rock back in the 90s?
No.
You never saw the show Rock with Charles S. Dutton, I believe his name was?
I don't think so.
He was like the garbage man, and he was married to a nurse. And he was like always like I could fix, like he was like extreme, like because he would bring stuff in from his route.
Oh, that was like things that were sitting out on the curb, and he was like, "Ooh, I could use this."
Yeah, or we could fix it. Yeah. I mean, it's not that bad for me, but
thank God.
I'm always like I can fix something before it goes to bulk trash.
Yeah. So
I digress.
I know, right? Being surrounded by beauty, I think, is where I left off. Yes. So I think it's, I feel like it's my responsibility, make sure the environment looks clean and organized. Mm-hmm. I mean, it helps with my energy, and I think it helps with the household energy, just not to have clutter and stuff just all over the house. So, what else? But you know what? My expectations of you as the man in the relationship, not that I won't take out trash, but I think trash is like a more, you gather all the trash and take it outside and all of that stuff. I feel like that's, man, I mean, a woman could do too. Obviously, I've done it before, but
Right.
I'd be like, okay, babe, time to take out the trash,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
fixing
definitely.
things. I mean, I am definitely a DIYer.
You are
I am a
100%,
DIYer to the core.
100%. Yeah,
So I love
you are.
like projects, and I love to make things. And sometimes I'm holding on to stuff saying, ooh, I could probably use this somehow.
Yeah,
I could probably use this in a craft for the kids or when I make something.
right.
But I love that you know how to fix stuff. Oh my God. I think that was something that I was wanting, a handyman, a jack of all trades,
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
or at least willing to try and figure it out.
right.
So I feel like that's a wonderful male quality that I look for. And anyways, yeah.
No,
I
I mean
think
that makes
that's,
sense.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Those are, not that's all of the male
Yeah, yeah.
stuff.
That's just
Those were
some
some
of the main
things that,
things that
some
you
of
were
the main
thinking
things
about.
that I was thinking about whenever I was going into it. I was like, if you can fix things, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's
mean, no,
great.
that makes sense because like for me, I was like, I've always been like, I mean, I consider myself a manly man. You know what I'm saying? Into the sense of like physically getting my hands dirty. I don't judge anybody who doesn't, but I think that as a man, like the things that I've always been focused on was obviously, providing as much as possible, financially, and outside of that, like fixing things. Fixing things is a big thing because you're always gonna run into having to fix things in a house, even in an apartment. You might
Yeah.
have to fix some things. You know what I'm saying? So just being physically aware of like the trash. If you own a home and you have to do some maintenance, lawn maintenance, lawn stuff. I mean, which men and women do that, But yeah, just being somebody who fixing stuff on the car, fixing anything around the house that you can. I think that's important. I also like I'm not a great cook. I'm not a good of a cook as you, but I think as a grown man, you should know how to cook something.
He knows how to grill, though. He
I
knows
know
how
how
to
to grill,
grill, though.
and I could cook.
And you can cook.
I can
Yes.
cook okay.
Yes.
I'm not gonna open up a restaurant
Yes.
anytime soon, but I can
Man.
cook something.
Whenever I first met you, I remember we were eating, I think it was salmon croquettes and sauteed kale or either sauteed spinach.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you cook the shit out of those salmon croquettes and
Yeah.
sauteed kale
I got some-
in
I
that
got some,
Jersey City apartment.
I got some
We had
game.
some good meals in that Jersey City apartment.
I got some cooking skills.
He definitely has
you
some
know.
cooking skills. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I certainly do appreciate that.
Well, you got to know how to cook something because at the end of the day, like you're an adult, you should know how to prepare something,
Yeah.
and then even cleaning. Like there's a lot of people who are like I wouldn't say I'm a neat freak, but I definitely like things clean too.
Yeah.
So I'm not someone who's going to sit in filth and wait for the woman to clean up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you come into I feel like if you come into a relationship, there are expectations, but I think you got to be willing to blur the lines, I guess. You can't draw hard lines. Hard lines are difficult, because everybody, like, I would say most scenarios now, everyday people isn't just the man going to work and the woman sitting at home.
Yeah.
I don't really see a lot of that.
Yeah.
It does exist. And maybe it exists for certain amounts of time.
Yeah.
Where maybe one person worked, the other person doesn't, or whatever the case is. But I mean, when I was growing up, I mean, my mom and dad worked. They both worked.
Same.
And
Same.
yeah, they collaborated on certain things, but it was like, yeah, you kind of work to get things done together, But so do you find like when have you talked to other women, do you feel like what do you feel like a woman's point of view is now as far as being with a man?
What do you mean?
Like when they're cohabitating, what are some things you think like generally women are feeling like a man should be able to provide? Do you think it's more finances,
Oh,
or
okay.
do you think women want more like I want somebody to pay everything and I'll do everything. Do you think that that's more of the vibe, or do you think that women are more like, okay, they want more of a partnership type of thing? Not you, but what do you think
I mean,
about
not
women?
me, but I can just only speak about those who surround me. It seems like they want more of a partnership.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we necessarily depend on the man to make the most money. You know what I'm saying? I think at the end of the day, the bills got to be paid. And the woman definitely wants to have some for herself, for sure. Not like all putting it all in one account and you put the money where you see fit.
Oh, the joint accounts. I don't think anybody wants to do that.
Well, you know what? If you're gonna do a joint account, I'll put some money in, and then some money's like the joint account might be for the bills, and I'll put some money in. Right. I mean, we have a joint account, and that was the ideal. But
everybody has a joint account.
I know,
but that ain't the only account.
That ain't the only account. No,
that's cool, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd like to have. So for me, I think in our relationship, you most certainly, manage, I think, the financial aspect of things, like for sure, like investments and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm coming to you for that because I haven't the slightest clue, and you have a lot of knowledge about it. So I trust you with the finances.
Right.
But as far as like, does a woman expect the man to just, to do all of the finances and to do all the manly things? No, I don't think that's it at all. I think it's more of a partnership, like I said in the beginning.
Yeah.
Just sharing the responsibilities, feeding the kids, and if you have to, do some laundry. But I love doing laundry personally.
I hate doing laundry. Hate it.
I like the organization of it all, sorting out the clothes and putting things back where they belong. Like I do get some good feelings, good vibes whenever I'm doing my laundry.
Well, that's good. I mean, you know what though? I think that those are all reflections, I think, of like how people live when they're single. Certain things that they just do. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that, not that you don't change and evolve, but a lot of times if you're single and you don't cook, and you hard body on I don't cook, a lot of times you ain't gonna cook once you get into a relationship. You're gonna still want to order out, or you're still gonna expect maybe the other person to do more of it. And it's interesting now, the gender roles are very interesting, because it's like a lot of people have hardline expectations, but they don't match up with their lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So most of the time, if a man is like, hey, I make all the money, I pay for everything, in turn, they're expecting the woman to like do everything.
Yeah.
And from my experience, what I see, women nowadays are like, I'm not doing everything.
Yeah.
I'm not doing everything around the house. And honestly, I don't even know if that is something that's healthy, if you have someone who doesn't want to do everything.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because then there becomes a situation where the woman, or maybe in some cases even the man, feels like, hey, I don't want to be Sally housekeeper all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
are you talking about the guys who are financially supporting the woman and the woman is staying at home?
Yeah, I think that's the expectation. That I think that's an old school expectation, but it's also somewhat realistic if you're saying, hey, I'm going to take care of everything.
Right,
you don't have to do anything.
Right.
But I feel like even with that, you still have, for a woman, you still have some women who are like, well, yeah, but I don't want to be Sally Housemaker.
Yeah.
We need a maid or something.
Yeah.
So it becomes like, but then if you don't have the money to do all that, it might not be as realistic.
Yeah.
So maybe it makes more sense to, if the woman is working and has a career or has something she wants to do, then you got to find that balance. You know what I'm saying?
Then you have to find the balance,
and I
for
think
sure.
that, that's the thing. So you can't
I think that there would be more of an expectation of me if I was staying home. Not that staying home and raising kids is an easy job. It's difficult, but I think you do have a little bit more time to plan the meals. That's when all of these other methods, kick in to make your day easier as a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
So that you can still have some me time too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So meal planning is really good. Of course, if you're a crafty person, having crafts for the kids to do, so that either sometimes you just want to have a little time, to yourself, or have adult conversation with a girlfriend, or something like that. So it all just has to balance out at the end of the day. It just all has to be balanced. You can't expect one person out of the relationship to solely do just that, unless they choose to be the sole provider financially,
right?
And you don't have to work. But I would probably want to hire some help.
Well, that's
I would probably hire some help anyway. Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing, like
for the house cleaning for sure, I think, dusting and all of that stuff.
But you know what though? It depends. It depends on what the finances are like. So that's where I think that there's definitely a different type.
Well, they have housekeepers now that charges $50 for 2 hours. These special services.
Well,
they can clean the baseboard. They can clean the.
But see, here's the thing. It depends on. You know where I'm going now. Look,
I'm for housekeepers.
If you're. I'm not for housekeepers.
I mean, we've never had housekeepers, but
I'm not for housekeepers.
It's just him and I. But
if you ain't doing anything, then your ass should be dusting everything.
Dusting the baseboards?
If you don't have a career, you don't have nothing you do.
And what if you have kids?
Yeah, I think I
should still be dusting the baseboards.
If that's all you do is watch kids, that's just my person.
That's all I do. Oh,
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying if
you're gonna get it.
I'm saying if that's the only thing you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's all you actually do is you watch kids and you cook meals, then you should really go hard. But you know what? I believe that too. Like, I believe that for a man too, not this woman. If you're a man, look, if you're a man and you're at the crib and you don't do anything else, only thing you do is you watch the children, and there's nothing wrong with it because it got to be done, right? So how do you look let's say you're a man, you're at home, you watch the kids, you do the meals. Your wife is the sole provider. You have no career aspirations. You're not trying to do anything. As a man, you should be doing everything. You should be cleaning up the crib. How you look high? What are you hiring somebody for? What you doing while the person who's hired is cleaning?
Well, you're doing the other things. You're doing the dishes. You're doing the laundry. But I'm not gonna clean the baseboards.
Well, baseboards don't have to be cleaned every day. But
I know, but I would probably.
We differ.
Well, I would not hire a housekeeper every day, or not even a weekly thing. Maybe just once every 2 months.
See, that's the
just
problem.
Do a thorough situation.
Those are where the grandmas from the old school.
Yeah.
The grandmas from the old school.
I know they did it all.
They did it all.
They did it all.
They did it all.
But they didn't have the jobs though.
I'm saying if
demanding jobs.
Right, I'm saying if you don't have a job right now,
that's right.
You don't
that's
have
what
nothing
we were
to do.
Talking about.
That's the problem. That's the problem to me with the new school vibe. It's like you have women who don't want to do it. Some women who don't want to do anything or don't do anything, but still feel like I can't do all the stuff around the house. But you can. Yeah. You can if you got to. You may not want to because you feel like I don't want to do all that, but you got to pick. Now, look, if y'all are rich. I don't mean like comfortable. If you are rich and wealthy, I should say, then cool. Then if that you can afford to put it in the budget and then say, hey, you just look cute. Your job is just to be cute, look cute, and then we hire somebody to do all the manual labor stuff that you don't want to do because you don't want to get your nails dirty or whatever it is. Then hey, by all means, I don't knock that, but I think for everyday people. You got to be realistic because you have people who at the crib you ain't doing anything, but then then the house is dirty.
That's not cool. That's not cool. I'll agree with you on that.
But like, listen, it's not just towards women, so nobody get mad at me. It's there's guys too. There's lazy guys too who don't do anything. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like if you ain't gonna do nothing, you better mop the hell out of those floors. You better buff them floors.
Get on your hands and knees.
Get them floors shining.
Get in those crevices.
You might say, "Hey, I don't have a career, but man, them floors."
Or the grout lines.
Yeah,
crevices are on your body, not on the floor.
Whatever.
The grout line.
I think
that's called the grout line.
Call them crevices too, but they should be shining. So, but like for a man, like you should know how to like change a tire. Like if we're driving and
I know how to change a tire for sure.
There's people who don't know how to change a tire.
Yeah, I think definitely my dad taught me. It's also in the user manual in the car. I think it tells you how to
Who is
change
gonna
it.
find the user manual?
I still have my user manual in the car.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
You gonna flip through that to find out how to change the tire?
If I needed to.
I don't think they tell you. Well, they might.
No, they do.
They might. Oh, okay.
They do. They do.
They probably tell you where the spare tire is.
And they tell you everything that you have in your trunk. They tell you, because I think all of those parts, at least in my car, it came with the car.
Okay.
All of those parts and the spare tire. So, yeah, you got to crank. You got to. Well, I ain't gonna go through the stages right now because I'm a little rusty, so I'm not gonna talk about it. But I think I can figure it out for sure.
I think there's some people who have these strange off-brand ideas, like the woman is supposed to do everything. Like people aren't meeting each other halfway.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean, I think some of that ties down to, and we certainly do not have to get into this subject. It could be religion, it could be culture, it could be.
Well, yeah.
It could be all of those things. Because I did date a guy who was a different culture. And yeah, that was the expectation.
Yeah.
That was the expectation. Come home, have a hot meal, not helping in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And I, when I realized it, I was like, this ain't gonna work for me.
So let's say you're dating that guy who's from a culture or has that idea that okay, the woman is supposed to do everything in the house. So let's say you're dating that guy, and then was he like, hey, I'm gonna pay for everything? Was that the vibe coming from him?
No, that wasn't the vibe either.
Well, that's where it gets difficult, right?
Yeah.
So let's say he said that.
Yeah.
Let's say he said that. So I guess my point is like, okay, so if a guy says, hey, you got to do everything as far as the house. That's my expectation. If I don't clean, I don't do cook or anything of that. Mm-hmm. And then he says, well, I'll pay for everything. That's all you have to do. I think there's sometimes guys have the assumption that the woman is going to be like, okay, cool.
Right.
And that's not always the stipulation.
That's not reality.
Because you might, you have a lot of women. I would say most women have careers, at least in the U.S. They have something that they do. So the average woman, I think, you can tell me if I'm wrong, the average woman ain't going to be like, I quit my career.
No.
Unless you're providing a lifestyle that's so extravagant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, this so extravagant that it's like, yo, you don't need to work.
Right.
We're millionaires or multi-millionaires.
And if that's what she desires, I mean, if that's what she desires, then it's all good. But if that's not something she desires, then it ain't gonna work.
I think that's the only way that even if she didn't desire it, you could persuade somebody to say,
I be persuaded?
With millions of dollars, I believe anybody could be persuaded to be like, man, all right,
just stay at home,
forget my job,
cook, clean, and do what?
That is,
I have to have a purpose. I mean, for me, I don't think that will work because I'm more than just a housekeeper. I'm more than just someone who brings you hot meals. Like, I have desires too. And I think most women do. So,
I believe that.
Yeah. So I think most people do, not just men, women. I think most people have the desire to want more for themselves. Yeah. Or to do something that brings them joy and brings them happiness, besides
just taking care of the house.
Just taking care of the house, or even just being a trophy wife, just looking pretty. I think there are just more, I think deep inside there are desires that they want to fulfill.
I think that's the assumption, though. I think that guys a lot of times are like, yo, if I can provide everything, I can dictate what you're going to do.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's like, that is a assumption that people make. If I provide, I can dictate how things go.
Interesting.
And I can make more demands as to what I want.
Interesting.
So, that is very interesting.
Maybe that guy is for somebody.
Well, there are. See, that's where
that kind of guy is for somebody.
But that's where you do have women. I feel like you do have women who want that. Who want all the resources, but they don't want to. I don't say be told, but they don't want to have that They don't want to have that shifted responsibility. I think there's a lot of people who want both. right?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the person who has multi-million dollars. I'm talking about the guy who's saying, oh, you know what? Okay, you make 100, I make 100, or whatever. Or you make 100, okay, I make 400. So you don't have to work now. I'll pay for everything. But $400,000 a year is comfortable
Yeah.
for most standards, but it's not rich.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just creates a situation where you don't have to work.
Right.
But it doesn't. But it's not a situation where there's money for a maid and all this stuff.
Right. Okay.
The responsibilities get
saying.
shift. So
Yeah.
you stop working, we
Right.
take away your $100,000 of income coming
Yeah.
into the house. I'm gonna make up for that. But in turn, you can't chill and do nothing.
Yeah. I understand with that. I understand that.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand that. Yes.
And that's the dynamic that I think is weird because I think you have people who are like, well, I'm not gonna work, but then I ain't gonna be doing all this stuff around the house.
Yeah.
So you gotta pick one.
I understand that. And yes, you do have to pick one if you're in that particular situation where you ain't necessarily, you're above, the middle class bracket. I mean, you're making more money, but not enough to be having a housekeeper and, all those people in and out your house. Yeah. Then yeah, you got to do something. You're going to have to cook. I would say, yes, you need to cook. You need to clean. You need to take care of home.
And clean them baseboards. And mop that floor. Mop that floor.
I'll think about the baseboards.
I don't clean baseboards. I don't know about that.
The blinds.
But,
Well, do you want to end this note on something?
Thinking about relationships, I think that the world is very dynamic. Roles aren't necessarily defined. I think you just got to find partnerships to be happy.
Yes.
And that's probably the best way to go about it, in my personal opinion.
That's a great way to wrap it up. I love that.
Cool.
Work together.
All right. Peace out.